Yes, welcome to another episode of Real Talk. Super duper uber excited for this episode. I'm joined by none other than Sonny, the hitman Hira. Anybody in Birmingham or the West Midlands or even the UK who's involved with kickboxing, Thai boxing and the martial arts scene might have heard of him. If you're a British sportsman, you would have heard of him. He's a 3 times kickboxing world champion, Brit Asia Award Sports Person of the Year, if I'm correct.
That's right, the British Asian Sports Personality Award.
I think I remember when I reached out to you when I was playing basketball abroad and I said, how do I get nominated for that award? And you were going to help me out. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay, anyway,
Vaguely, yes.
Enough about me. You can introduce yourself, tell the people a little bit about who you are, what you're working on, brother.
Okay, so let's take you guys right the way back. So I started martial arts kickboxing at the age of 10. I always had a big passion, love for wrestling. That was, I always wanted to be a wrestler.
Is it WF?
WWF, which
Stone Cold.
Hulk Hogan, probably way a bit before your time.
Yeah,
you probably really bought Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. So these kind of guys, I always wanted to be a wrestler, but there was no wrestling clubs. Wrestling and boxing actually, that was my first passion, my first love. But Birmingham was the only city in the whole of UK, in England, that didn't have a professional or much of an established amateur scene. Yeah. And one day I was at an Asian festival, and I came across my coach, Cash the Flash Gill, and he was performing, and then we plodded along. He had a class. Back a couple of miles in that local leisure centre from where I live. Yeah. So I went along one day and that was it. Love
Cash, by the way. Cash, I know you're going to be watching this episode. A lot of love for you, brother. Anyway.
Well, big up to Cash. Yeah, so that was it really. I took it up and never left since. Yeah. I always wanted to be a world champion. In the back of my I always wanted to be a world champion. So I knew from day one that was the goal. That was a position goal in my head already from day one. And the rest is history. So
cool. Let me probe. Yeah. So, growing up in Handsworth, UK, anybody who knows about Handsworth probably knows it's not the kindest of environments to shape your mindset, or maybe it is.
It is
because it's so challenging.
Exactly. Yeah.
How was it growing up in Handsworth in the 80s? 90s.
90s.
Yeah, you getting your
yeah. So by the time I was at a decent age, 8, 9, 10 years.
As far as you can remember.
Yeah. So growing up in Handsworth was actually probably a benefit from me. Yeah. Because of the roughness. Yeah. It kind of grits you and gets you pre-ready for what you're gonna expect in the ring. Because remember, being in the ring, getting punched and kicked in the face is not nice. And
what even say in life?
Punched and kicked in the face when you're tired is even more extremely hardcore. So growing up in Handsworth, it gives you that little bit of a backbone. We used to own a newsagent for 20 years, and it was
the family.
The family did, and it was around the corner from another rough area called Newtown, and that was just as bad. So you're growing up, you got a baseball bat behind the counter. I mean, I'm only like 12, 14 years old, and growing up and seeing this, but. Just gives you that mentally stronger edge, because you know you gotta wake up, you gotta be tougher. You know there's gonna be things coming at you. You know you're gonna go to the shop, or you're gonna walk down the road in Handsworth, and you might be approached by a group of guys that want to have your watch or your little bracelet. Back in them days, you didn't have phones, so. But
the change suddenly.
The change.
I got robbed. I was robbed in Handsworth walking these streets.
Wow.
On the way, ironically enough, and I've told the story to a few people. Not my proudest moment. We were 12 years. I was 12 years old. Me, my 2 cousins, and Tony. We were walking to Handsworth Leisure Centre for kickboxing training. It's 8:30 in the morning. We're going to the 9 o'clock class, and you wouldn't believe it. We got stopped and approached by some huge guys, all balaclavaed up, bandanas across their face. 12 years old, and they went through our bags. Luckily, we only had. The irony of it is, we should have kicked their ass. We had all these gloves and gear, but fortunately, it never escalated. But then, they're looking through our things, and that was really, that was early on when we were living in Handsworth, and that really changed the way my mindset worked in life. Right, and I'm testimony to what you just said. We're not doing anything special. We're just going to where we're going.
Exactly.
And it can come to you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not to say it's still like that, because a lot of people who are still living there do tell me Handsworth settled down a bit now.
Yeah. I think they just drive around now.
You don't have to walk. All right, cool. So Handsworth is a great way to shape the eventual traits, would you say, that have enabled you to go on to win 3 world championships?
Definitely, it's a great question you're asking me, because when I was training, I was running the streets of Handsworth Wood, running into Birmingham City Centre, but majority of it was done around the Handsworth and the urban areas.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember running was it was quite heavily polluted.
Yeah.
And it was quite...
Because the industrial estates and the factories?
Yeah. And I remember going up a steep hill, Handsworth Wood Road, really steep up the road. It was quite polluted around there. And rather than thinking in a negative state, I use that as a positive to think like, if I'm in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round and I'm gasping for air, this is what it's going to feel like. So push yourself even more.
100%.
So I used it as a positive anchor point and to propel me, and I've done this throughout many points of my training without me realising. It's only now, and where I am now in my career and what I'm doing by mindset training with people and working on the personal development, I can now revert back and think, I actually did that.
Unconsciously, just to get to the result that you're trying to get to. All right, so how important is, using adversity for gaining success in your opinion? Because there's a lot of people going through tough times, not just in inner cities, all over the world, all over the UK. It's people struggling with a ton of issues, mental health, financial, you name it. There's a drama there. Everyone's got one. But how important is it for you to use and leverage that for success as a young person? Or can you use every single piece as fuel?
Of course, 100%. And if you're waking up every day and you think there ain't going to be some adversity or something or some kind of hurdle that's going to come up, you're blinded, you're deluded. It's life, it happens, things happen. One moment your life could be going exceptionally well, and then all of a sudden you can have this one point that just brings you back down to reality. But it's life, and you got to roll with it, and you got to go with it. And every day you've been given, it's a new day to start fresh and go again. So I've always had that mindset, and it's something I realised a couple of months ago that probably 90% of the population or people I come across don't really have this mindset. Now, when I've grown up in an environment with peers like world champions, British champions, European champions, grown up in the martial arts industry, everyone's naturally positive. And if I've got a friend who's won a British title and I'm at the Midlands level, it makes me want to achieve more. Or if someone's doing 100 press-ups and I'm doing 2, it makes me think, I want to do 100 press-ups next week. And that's how I work. One thing I had a realisation moment was a few weeks back was that 90% of the population does not think like this. When they have a hurdle come up, they sink. It crushes them, and they curl up in the bed, and they don't want to attack the problem. And that's the worst thing you could do, is hide away from any kind of issue or problem.
Okay. Just want to touch on a point you've just said there, which I'm interested to dig a little deeper in. So you mentioned obviously in the gym, growing up around British champions, world champions, who've obviously either just achieved it or they've achieved it in their careers. How important, is the circle of influence of people around you, and how much can that either help you or take away from your chances of success?
100%. It's all part of the package. They say you're going to be, the 5 people you hang around is one of the positive, is what you're going to end up being. And I'm lucky I grew up around 20, 30, 40, 50 positive people. I mean, everyone comes.
Who are the biggest influences, if you're going to name them?
The biggest influences.
Give me a top 3,
My top 3 was obviously my coach, Cash Gill. He was one of my top role models.
Who's pushing you?
Yeah, because obviously he's been there, done it, got the t-shirt. So if you just listen to that person, you'll achieve it. Other role models were my parents. They're hardworking. They have the drive, they have that hard work ethic. Come from India back in the early 1980s, and my dad even till this day works long hours. So and then I've got my sports role models like Prince Nassim and that, but more to kind of direct me and keep me in line was probably them peers. And I got an older brother who's 10 years older than me.
Wow.
So he was always strict on me. He was always strict on me. So
even from
oh yes, I came home late from school at the age of 10 years old, 10 minutes late. He was like, where was you? So I had people around me keep me in line. But going back to when you're growing up or when you want to be successful, you got to be around positive people. If you're gonna have someone that's negative and draining your energy, it's gonna kill you. You're not going to be moving forward, or you're not going to be moving forward at a very fast pace, or at a very steady pace. You're going to be kind of taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. So it's very important to have positive people around you. Like we train together, and one thing
used to beat me up. for the record.
He wasn't a 6'7".
I was probably the same height. I was the same height as you when I was growing up at 12, 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
So I got those heavy licks that I remember very well. Because you
sure that wasn't me? I was a nice
you were nice, but there were some other guys actually who weren't so nice, right? But that was great. That was great training. But what I wanted to add to that is I knew because Sonny just ran an event, right? And he runs. I'm going to talk about this in depth. The White Collar Boxing Championships here in the UK, and we were fortunate enough to sponsor the event this time around. Found out, and reconnected with Sonny, and it was a brilliant night. But before the night, there's 8 weeks of training, right? I decided, I want to get into it. I'd love to get my fitness back, so I jumped back into, training. And one of these sessions, and you'll remember this session, Sonny had us standing there for conditioning. I started leveling out some blows into our solar plexus, right?
As you do.
And one of them hit me so deep it wasn't even like you were venomous with it. But it was just so direct into my diaphragm, right? It emptied my whole lung capacity of air. And I swear to God, at that exact moment, I had a flashback of when I was like 13 years old. And you just get me right there. And that's a bit of history between me. And so he's been kicking my ass my whole life.
Well, I was always the skinniest guy in the gym.
And you were so light.
Yeah, I was the lightest guy in the gym. So I had... I was a certain amount of power, so I had to use precision and precise techniques, and that was my whole fighting. It was all based around technique and skill and movement, and obviously for me, the aim of fighting is to hit and not get hit.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to give a 6'7", 18 plus of...
I could be admitting it hurts really.
Plus some sexiness, some love, it's got to be a precision.
Yeah. Let's talk about the White Collar Boxing Championships. So obviously... We're fast forwarding now, but I'm really interested. Obviously, I was so proud that we could support that event, and even that I could be a part of it with all the guys. I never realised the relationships that you build in a fight camp. Because obviously I was a kid, so I wasn't so social back then.
Yeah, and we didn't have that as much because we were just coming to training.
Just come to fight and improve your skill. But in this camp for the White Collar Boxing Championships, the guys you meet and you spend all this time with and you sparring with and all the rest of it, you build relationships that you never build with these people anywhere else, right? Talk to me about why, you're on the 5th or the 6th season now.
Yeah, we just did our 6th show.
6th show.
Yeah.
Why did you start the White Collar Boxing Championship? How did it come about?
So firstly, I'd just like to thank yourself and social media agendas.
Social agendas,
sorry, for partnering up with us and doing a great job.
You're welcome, man.
So, where the White Collar Boxing Championships came in was, I was teaching at the Club and Spa, which is a really nice upmarket health
that's a Birmingham
spa gym in the Birmingham City Centre, and I was brought in to launch their fight club, which is all just going to be training based around fight training, but actual no sparring. So they brought me in.
Fitness fighting.
Yeah, fitness fighting. And I was training these guys for a good year, and it got fun, and everyone had a bit of banter, and then eventually everyone was like, oh, you're calling each other as a bit of fun, and I said, why not, let's put it on, let's put the event on, and let's do it for a great cause, Birmingham Children's Hospital, because when I was always training, when you're a martial arts instructor and you're working with children, and I've worked with hundreds of kids over the years, and now these kids are all grown up 18, 19, makes me feel old. I always wanted to give back to the community, especially to the children, and with this event, it was a perfect opportunity to do that. So it's the Birmingham Children's Hospital, absolutely outstanding hospital. I'm proud to say White Collar Boxing Championships has raised over £42,000 for Birmingham Children's Hospital in 6 events.
It's amazing.
So that is absolutely amazing. So we're one of the highest 100 fundraisers 3 years in a row now.
Amazing.
Which is a
very good. So it just naturally came about, the idea sparked, and you thought you had the people there ready to do it. Then how does it grow? I mean, look at the last event, how many people did we have there at the last show?
We're in the region of about 700 to 800, which was great because...
And that's on average now, isn't it?
That's on average because our summer show, the one later obviously in the summer you're competing against football and World Cup and holidays, but that was great turnout. We're growing, every event's growing, which is the way we're going.
How do you film an event like that? Obviously I know, but I want you to share it with these guys. How do you go about filling an event with 800 people to watch I wouldn't even say it's as far as amateur. I think what's below amateur, super amateur.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you get some
they
skills.
call it semi-pro.
Semi-pro,
yeah.
Recreational fighting.
Yeah, so semi-pro is more for a fight mania. So fight mania is for the white collar guy who's a little bit more serious now. He's probably had 1 or 2 white collars. Has got the buzz for it, got the love for it, and wants to keep it on. So, and like you said, it builds up that mentality, that physical, that relationship you have with the whole team. And people want it ongoing. After when the event's done, it's like a big adrenaline slump because there's nothing else to look forward to. So people carry it on, and then the fight mania side is more for like the semi-pro boxer and the professional kickboxer and Thai boxer. So I can't tell you exactly how it's all done for sketch give or the trade secrets, but like for myself, whenever I do anything, it's got to be to a great standard.
What are the key things that? Look, at the end of the day, we need some value bombs out of you.
Of course, and I want to give you the.
How do you make sure? All right, so if we're saying that to have a great event, you need to give a great experience. So what are some of the things that obviously you focus on at the events to make sure that it's first of all, the professionalism is huge. What are some of the other things that you've incorporated into the Hitman events?
The biggest thing is I make sure I'm adding value in any aspects of the event, whether it's for the boxer that's signing up. So when they're signing up, they want to get fit. They want to be a part of a great environment, and they want to learn some great techniques. So I'm making sure I'm bulletproofing everything. Every one of them will give it 100%.
So the coaching and the skill before the actual show.
Coaching and when we're all together and just the banter and the relationship, we're forming it, and I'm kind of leading it and making sure everyone's getting along. A bit like what they say with the England football team, like Gareth Southgate had to make sure the whole team unites and bonds. And even though boxing is a single person sport, because it's for a great cause, I still want to bring in that atmosphere, because what I find is that will then lead on to their supporters. So when the supporters come, what they want to see is obviously the person they're supporting fighting, and then they want to be part of a great event. So I have a great team behind me, because I honestly can't do this on my own. So we have a great team, great setup, a beautiful venue on the centre of Hagley Road, ample car park space, so there's no issues in that sense. So again, we're just giving that total value. So when people are coming, the music's got to be on point. My DJ's got to be playing some great music throughout. Just keeps that crowd going. The organisation skills. So if you're a VIP and you're getting a 3-course meal, the food's got to be amazing, and the service has got to be immaculate as well. So it's just everything, every corner point. I don't cut corners.
And one of the things that I found interesting about the whole way that you've got things set up and talking about the team is you weren't actually coaching direct. You were giving obviously tips, pointers in the main group classes, and then you had your individual sessions that you were helping people with, in the second session. But for the main, training session, you appointed a coach, obviously who you trust very, very highly. And I've seen from the previous shows, you've been using coaches before. So why don't you just take over? And I think it's this is what I was asking myself, and I think it's because obviously you know the importance of having a team, right, and relying on other people. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Exactly, because in business, if you want to be a successful business person, you wanna grow your business, you can't really do it all on your own. Yes, as a director, as a CEO, you are the main person guiding that boat and leading that ship. But you have to learn the biggest skill to have in business is to delegate. Now a lot of people fail when they come start new entrepreneurs and they start a business. They say, oh, I'm a perfectionist, I've got to do everything on my own. In business, you can't really be a perfectionist, because if you wait for perfect, it will never happen. You have to take action quick and just implement. And then you can always tweak and make it better as you go along, as we've done with the shows. So that's one thing I've had to learn and do. And I delegate out jobs where I can. And I have what I call the 5% mark. Where I delegate everything out apart from 5% of the work that only I must do, and I have to do. But everything out gets delegated out.
I think that's really important. I agree 100%. When we build campaigns and we build, the marketing funnels, similarly to what we helped you guys do, you have to have individuals who you can first of all rely on, but second of all trust. And that's a massive thing, and I think it's great In your sixth show, I mean, is everybody from the beginning still with you who you were working with in those first couple of shows, or have you had to cut a bit of the fat for you?
No, I mean we made a few changes, but it's not the whole.
Well, you've kept it in the family as well.
The whole structure of the team is still there, but I mean, we've just kind of improved on the video factor side, whereas on the first couple of shows, might have had 1 or 2 cameras, but then we've had to expand to 3, 4 cameras then, but then like that certain team can't provide that, so we just had to go into a bigger company.
Okay.
So we've grown, if there's been any changes in my company, it's been to the progression side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very important to have a good team around you. But again, you won't know that until you jump on board and get someone on board and doing jobs. And there's been times where we've been stung in certain places, but you can't dwell on it and you can't sit on it. You just got to go with it, and you got to cut your losses and move forward.
What about the fight game in Birmingham now? So I've seen a lot of the guys from camp try to start up their own enterprises, to try whether it's a fitness club or whether it's a brand of some sort to help the fight game. What does the fight game in Birmingham look like now, and what is the rise of mixed martial arts? Because when we were training, I never heard anything about MMA, but now you see the gyms everywhere. Yeah. What impact has that had on the overall fight game now in the Midlands?
I mean, MMA is absolutely massive. And in a way, it's projected martial arts, put martial arts back on the map. But at the same time, fighters, there's a bit of an up-down thing. There's a lot of gyms opening up, but there's not a lot of reputable gyms opening up, because you're having people, even people who've done charity white collars, having 1 or 2 fights and then start their own gyms. Whereas fair play to them. But at the end of the day, it's like any business. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to add value. And like myself, I've been doing this last 25 years now, so I mean, there's not many people like myself with that lineage of having a world champion to teach you, 4th down black belt, 3 world titles. But martial arts overall is growing. It actually is growing, and me as a parent, and I come across a lot of friends who are parents, they want their kids to do something. But when you're talking about the fight scene and the boxing scene and martial arts,
is it better than it was when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean it's improved. I was last fighting about 8 years ago, and I fought on the biggest show at the time, which was at the Barclay Arena in Birmingham, in front of 5,000-6,000 people, and that was a one-of-a-kind show. That was the first show that came around like that after 15 years, and I had grown up to want to fight on them shows all the time. And it's one of them reasons probably why I just kind of ending my career, because it
was a high point.
It was a high point. I achieved 3 world titles, and unfortunately there wasn't nothing more for me to motivate me to go on.
What about the earnings? Now, one of the things in kickboxing is and sports as a whole. Look, basketball. I went through it myself. The top 5-10% of players in the world take probably 90% of the wages, and the other 10% is distributed amongst the other 90% of players. That wasn't something that I could see as a viable route, which helped me get clarity on, starting my own business. Kickboxing, I've heard many stories of the same, where, leading up to, this is when I was doing it, which is obviously back in the day, there was no social media where you could brand yourself and maybe get a sponsorship or a deal with somebody who you don't really know. There was no Facebook in those days where you could promote yourself and actually have some tangible income from that. What were the, even as a world champion, most world champions in kickboxing don't retire. Would you agree with that? They can't retire because of the income they've earned up to that point. Or could they retire and they just carry on?
Well, what you're asking me now, you can reflect back onto the question prior to this, because regarding gyms and stuff, because in kickboxing, martial arts, Thai boxing, there ain't no money in fighting, unfortunately. And like you said years ago, like now it's probably a little bit better because you got social media and you can get sponsors on board and you can advertise people, or now people have got a bigger fan base through social media. But it was only like 8, 9, 10 years ago when I was fighting. Facebook wasn't utilised how it is today. You couldn't do live streams, couldn't upload videos, just pictures. There was not Instagram, and YouTube was very limited. Like now, you can go on YouTube and type your opponent's name and get all his last 5-6 videos. When I was fighting, you just had your coach with like probably some kind of fake record that either your coach made up or the promoter made up, and
holy shit, just rolling with it.
Yeah, because like if the guy's had 80 fights, your coach probably doesn't want to tell you he's had 80 fights. So you'll probably say, oh, he's had quite a lot of fights, about 30, 40
So you
fights.
can't even, back in them days, you didn't even have the ability to really research who you're going up
No,
against.
but I like that mindset, and I prefer that to now, because now you have fighters now. They want to know everything. They want to know the guy's weight. Fucking what do you have for breakfast? Where he gets his haircut from? You know what I mean? But and I have to tell them, listen. And then what happens? That puts you in that negative state of mind. You read too much into you, overthink too much, puts you in that negative state of mind.
It's a defensive mindset.
Yeah. My opponent's had 20 fights, 20 knockouts.
Yeah.
You're negative before you start to fight. So I was always the opposite. So I didn't know much about my opponent, but I believed in myself and my own ability. So from my training camps were, Sonny, right, improve the fitness, improve your power on this one. Alright, I want to do this combo, I want to go left to the body, left uppercut with the same hand, finish with a left hook. And not a lot of people used to do that, and I used to shadow box that continuously from all fight. And then I won't worry about what my opposition.
So you're dictating the flow of what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. So going back to your original two questions is, there unfortunately wasn't much money back in them days. I don't think much has changed right now either. But the way if I can probably make more money nowadays is leveraging themselves for sponsorship of this
as a brand, so building themselves. Right, so I'm glad you've touched on that. So
and the reason why there ain't much money, then they'll revert to opening up their own gym, just so they could train.
Why isn't there no money? Is it down to bad business people running the events? Because at the end of the day, as a fight promoter, as you've transitioned to now, you're filling 800 people a show for an amateur bout. There's money there, obviously, for ticket sales. For a professional fight, I mean, are the people who are organising the kickboxing game just shit at it?
Definitely, it's quite corrupt.
Or is it just the distribution? They've made money on it. You had 6,000 people at the Barclaycard Arena, right? I don't know who was promoting that fight, but I'm assuming you didn't see the lion's share of that purse.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
What, did you see the puppy share? Did you see any share?
I saw the whisker.
You got the bells.
The cat's whisker shit. So what you gotta remember, like, kickboxing is not governed like boxing and stuff like that, so they can't have structured, like for example, if you're a professional boxer and you want to fight for a British title, there's a rule saying anyone fighting for a British title on a promotion must get paid in the region of about £10,000 minimum.
Okay.
So there's nothing like that in martial arts, it's not governed. And obviously, people have been doing shows for years. I mean, we run the Fight Mania promotion, which is like a semi-pro, like I said, but we still give a great ticket commission, £10, which is quite a lot. People are still doing buying a £5. But saying that, there's absolutely some the promotions have grown. There's Glory Kickboxing, the biggest promotion in the world. I mean, they have shows at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Sure. They came to Birmingham last month.
No way.
And I only realised they were coming a few weeks before. I would have probably made my comeback, I don't know, 6 months prior.
But it's a good show.
But absolutely amazing. Some great big promotions out there now. There's one thing that's great about the martial arts or the kickboxing, Thai boxing industry is there's quite big shows that I fought on at the Barclay Arena, 5,000-6,000 plus venues. But I'm still not too sure about the pay. Like I said, the pay might be too good, but I can't think it'll be too great because although these are great venues, they're probably still 3/4 full. And obviously, as a promoter putting on them big shows, they'll need it.
The cost of it.
Yeah.
All right. What about social media? Okay, how big of an impact now is social media having on the fight game with people being able to build a brand and people being able to leverage that brand for sponsorships to make an income away from just what they do, but also who they are? How big is social media having?
Social media is absolutely massive. When the internet's died and business were...
Shit, you do sound old now.
Yeah, when the internet died. When when the internet was new back in the 90s and people then transitioned going online, it was all about having a website.
Yeah.
Now, having your social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever you do on social media, it's that next level up from websites because it's interactive. You can have Facebook groups and you can throw people in the groups and be more interactive.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yeah. So that's something that you're leveraging. How are you leveraging social in your game right now?
So what we're doing is we've got a like page and the people who take an interest, they'll then get added to a Facebook group. Okay. And then that's where I can build that momentum, but build that relationship. And one thing you gotta remember in business is there's 3 factors. Business, when people want to buy off you, they gotta know you, like you, and trust you.
Damn.
So when you conquer them 3, that's when you can sell or sign them up or whatever you want to do. So
make a transaction.
Make that transaction, yeah. Right. So that's one way of leverage social media. To that next step was we had the like page. Like page was doing great. But obviously, there's only a certain amount of interaction. We gotta post, people are gonna like, share it, and that's all the interaction.
Yeah.
Now, I really want to get more interactive, like I am with my boxes, because all my charity boxes, we have them in a separate group.
Okay.
And they're interactable.
Yeah, I've seen it. Okay, that's a great way. Also, I mean, to scout the boxers, you've obviously been leveraging ads and promoting, obviously, the fight to sign up fighters. How would you have done what you're doing through social media before the internet was born? Was it, literally just, how would you have gone about it? Would you have even got involved with it? Is that even feasible in that
I would have
time?
had a go at it and seen how it would have gone on. It would have probably been tougher than it is right now. It would have been all the old school marketing, like flyers, word of mouth,
old school.
Billboards,
Organic.
maybe, billboards are probably
Slow.
expensive. Organic, slow, can't record.
It already sounds like you don't want to do it.
yeah. Now, the funny story is, I thought I'm going to go all out, 10x everything. Now, if you know what.
10x, twice.
10x, baby.
Shit, come up again.
Grant Cardone,
Whoa.
10x.
You know what, I'm gonna need a flipping sponsorship from Grant Cardone himself. The amount
He's a man.
He's
a
leading
man.
the way. It's so crazy. Look, you're what, third person to bring him up in an interview.
You know what it is?
10x, baby.
People
10x.
know about Tony Robbins, great motivator.
Yeah.
Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And maybe you might know about Grant Cardone. You possibly
Yeah.
know about him if you're in the business.
Yeah, because he's much more niche.
More business.
Yeah.
But for me, Grant Cardone is number one.
Shit.
Yeah.
The second person to say this today?
Yeah. Tony Robbins is great motivator, but I'm already motivated. But for other people, he's a great motivator and he gets to the root of what people's issues are and whatever. Gary Vee, he just always talks about his wine library all the time and has a high-pitched voice. I don't really see too much tangible motivation I can take away from it.
It's not about motivation, I think it's more about shit you can action. So look, go and do this. When you listen to Grant Cardone,
he tells you what
literally
to do.
jump on the phone and fucking sell that shit.
Yeah.
And the language he uses is so cutthroat.
Yeah.
I think it appeals to people of our nature. Would you agree?
Straight up, because I'm not from the corporate world, or and you growing up in the cities, you just be straight and direct and talks to you like your best friend, and go and get this effing done or whatever. You know what I mean? And they'll tell you how to go and do it. That's the great thing about it, and that mindset. And that's where my mentors are actually these kind of online people. And Grant Cardone is probably one of my main mentors right now. You look at him and you listen to what he's saying.
And you can action it.
Take action. So I was going to 10x this. So we brought social agendas on board, So 10x the online marketing there. So I was like, we're going to the offline marketing because I watched a video with, can't remember his name, the wolf.
Jordan
Belfort, that's the one. And he said, never forget the offline marketers are people are always in the online. So I thought, I'm not going to forget about the offline market. Had like 5,000 flyers made. And then I needed someone to distribute them. So I rang up these flyer companies. And the funny story is, one guy I spoke to, he was actually bringing Grant Cardone down. And then he was like, listen, don't even bother with your flyers because they're less than 10% of return on them. You know what I mean? The conversion rate. So I've got 5,000 flies sitting at home.
Shit.
But
I got to say,
offline,
obviously, direct response is my game, right? And that's obviously why we started working together. But it's true, you have to have a balanced strategy. I used to be all about, look, let's just throw out ads, close off the ads, and we get what we get. But if you incorporate an organic strategy for the follow-up with human contact, with a sales team, with individuals who can actually build that relationship past that first initial response, you can fucking 10x your business because you've got awareness. And I think social is what enables us to buy that awareness, buy that attention, like Gary Vee would say. And then what you do with that, it can be organic campaign in the following steps.
Exactly. I mean, everyone wants to jump on ClickFunnels and all that, which is great, and getting cold leads into your funnels and stuff. But if you're just giving out that market value, adding value, and positioning yourself as an authority, and that's very important in business. So that's another key. So when you've honed in your skill and you've got your business to a decent stage, you then have to start taking it to the next level and being the authority position. Now,
that's from Jordan Belfort as well. I don't
know. I've seen one or two of Jordan Belfort.
In one of his sales programs, he says, You have to be 3 things in front of a prospect. Don't sell me this pencil yet.
Sell me this pen. Come on, let's check your skill now. Who wants to see Aaron's skill? Let's turn the tables around.
Wait for it. Sharp as a tack, right? That's an American saying. You need to be sharp, you need to be an authority, and you need to be prepared, right? These 3 things. Obviously the positioning is the authority side. How do you build positioning? How do you go about doing that? What tools can you use?
Alright, let me give you a perfect example of authority and positioning, yeah? You have your doctor, you have your GP.
Yeah.
He's got to know 101 things about
He's supposed to know 101 things.
Gets paid 30, 40, whatever, 50, whatever what they work,
Yeah.
Gets all came out. Then you got your specialist, the specialist surgeon, works on the heart, whatever. So, gets paid hundreds of thousands just to know that one area.
That one skill.
That one skill. So what happens in business is people, and again, this comes back to when you have to learn to delegate. Sometimes in business, especially in the fitness industry, you want to do everything. You can't do that. You have to. And in the fitness industry, I see a lot of personal trainers, fitness trainers, and if you're a fitness trainer, personal trainer, or entrepreneur getting into the fitness personal training and you're starting off, and you've got on your flyers, on your branding, on your posters, I'm a specialist in strength and conditioning, sports, weight loss,
massage,
muscle gain. You ain't doing shit, yeah? You need to bring it down to 1 point, 1 point. So you need to specialize in that 1 point. So again, going back to that, the GP, the doctor, and the surgeon. Ooh. See, the surgeon's 1 point, deals with one thing they hand out, and gets
caked up
10 times the amount the salary the doctor will get. So that goes by positioning. So he's gone and positioned himself to be a specialist and learned and got his degrees and PhDs or whatever, and positioned himself to be that specialist. So people will come to him. So again, that's another part too of what happens when you start positioning yourself as an authority figure. You're then going to start drawing in people. So you don't have to go and pitch yourself out all the time. You don't have to do these cold sales and all warm sales.
You start bringing in inbound leads.
You're going to bring the leads in, and you're going to bring in quality leads. So there's you can get leads in, but what you don't want is wasting your time with cold leads. You don't want that. And we've had that on the events. We've had people sign up, and then there's one of the reasons we put in a now £20 sign up fee, because we had people signing up and we used to give it away for free, and the training is free, but I want the people who are dedicated for the cause. And then get a lot of people that want to just come check it out and do a bit of training, and they realise it's hard or whatever, and then they scamper off. But what it is, I've only got places for 20 people max to take part in my charity event, so we want to raise as much money as we can for the charity, and so we only want the committed people. So by putting in a small, £20, it's a small amount. You might say so people pay £20, they still might walk away, but the key is this though: nobody wants to part with money. Okay, so if you're asking for money to take part in something, you're more or less going to get the serious person. Although it's only
who follows through, who commits.
Yeah, who commits, because nobody wants to part with money. Now, if you're Indian and Asian, you definitely don't want to part with money, even if it's 50 to be a bad. So get £20 an Indian man. It's a good thing. So going back to, I had to be a position of authority, and I'll talk about more in the fitness industry. So like now, I'm in the authority position. I'm naturally progressed it, and I'll progress because it's been my life.
So tell me about this mindset stuff that you're working with your clients right now. Who is it for?
The Sunny Hira health, wealth mindset is for the entrepreneur or the business person. So how we started off was, I had some businessmen that were training that 39 years old, we're going to be 40, I want to go to Vegas and be topless.
Oh shit.
And they wanted to have that six-pack out, so they came to me 1 year beforehand, which is a good plus point, because I'm going to need that. When you come across successful businessmen, they like to drink and eat good food. And then I had a couple other clients that were about 45, 50 and doing great, earning 6 figures, and they just quite wasn't there hitting the £1 million mark. And after getting to know them for a couple of weeks and a month, it was like, listen, as business and everything, tell me, I want to learn. What's your strategy? What's your daily habits? And that's another thing, daily habits, which we can work on. So I got talking to him and I said, I'm like, how's business going? Business is doing great, but it could be better, could be earning millions, but right now. So why is it? Bottom line short is they got complacent. The director, CEO got complacent. Wasn't pulling his weight. Wasn't making them sale calls. to them suppliers negotiating things down just because he was procrastinating, didn't want to do it, pushing it. Now, one thing in business is, now the day before, or we'll come back to this, the daily habits. We want to come back to this point, yeah, it's a very important bit.
Go for it.
Okay, so look, but the natural progression, what I'm working on the health, wealth and mindset now with entrepreneurs or business people that want to take the business to the next level of years. So what happened was, people take their foot off the gas pedal. When you're the boss, there's no one to be on top of you and say, listen, you got to do this, that. It's all up to you. So 1 week or one day you might be productive, the next day you might take your foot off. In business, you've got to be consistent. One thing is, you've got to be consistent. And you need to work out good work. You don't always have to be at top work rate. Somewhere in the middle, but you've got to be consistent all the time. So eventually what happened with a couple of my clients who were doing well, I said to them, listen, let's sit down today and just try to work out what you can do for your business to take it forward. So I gave them like 3 objectives to do until next week. And they did it, and they did it again and again and again.
3 objectives. Pay me again.
Yeah. So like a couple of, just being on top of their workforce, obviously you can let your workforce slip, or making them phone calls to get the suppliers.
And what success have they had from this program? From this mentorship? It sounds like you're mentoring and coaching them.
Exactly.
Right? Keeping them accountable.
Start hitting them, percentage increases into their profit, and growing some real money. So and the way we do that is through the health factor. When you're training and you're exercising, you're not training to be a fighter because that's only the fight life. But when you learn to do a bit of cardio training every day, it puts you in this kind of mindset. Now, anyone who does any exercise, you realize that you feel good because
it's a peak state.
Because your body's naturally releasing endorphins to release stress, and you feel confident. And then when you're looking better, losing weight, you feel confident. You're gonna attack your day in the same manner. Now, things what we do in the gym, like for example, if I had somebody who can't barely do 50 press-ups, and I said no, or can do 50 but they can't do more, and I said right, today you're gonna do 80, and say no chance. I can say yes, I'm gonna show you and I'm gonna guide you. I'm gonna do it before you leave. What happens by the end? They've done 80. They've put their mind in a different state. It's something they never thought they could do.
Yeah.
Just by having someone there pushing them a little bit more, they achieve that next level. So that's what I do with business. Then what they do is they then take that mindset over to their business, and they transfer their skills over to their business. So
that's where they see the results. And
that's
I think
where
it's
they see the results.
Great. I think it's great testimony as well that you're obviously somebody who's gone through a lifelong journey of mentoring and coaching in terms of achieving your own goals as a champion, kickboxing, using your circle of influence is something else we've just talked about to fuel the fire in your heart to achieve your goals. And now it's incredible, man, to see that you're having an impact on so many people's lives, whether it's through the events, the attendees that you're giving a world-class experience to, if it's the fighters who you're helping get in the ring, lose weight, and then showcase for their family, the charity, the hospital, and being a top 100 fundraiser there, to now being with the Sunny Hira health, wealth, and mindset training, trademark.
Yes.
And for me, this is how important. That's why this is so important for me, because I've been a part of your journey in a few places on this journey, and for me, it's incredibly exciting, man, to be surrounded by people like you, peers like you, who I can see are on a similar journey to me and continuing to evolve and reach their goals now, not just talking about doing it in 10 years time. What advice, let's cap it all off with what one piece of advice would you give for entrepreneurs in 3 words? What are the main attributes?
Main attributes. Okay, so I spoke about the main number 1 attribute is value.
Make it quick. I just need 3.
You gotta add value to your market. Value, consistency.
Yes.
And hard work.
Bang. Got it right there. Oh. Listen, check out Sonny's socials. Find him on Facebook. Add him. Do you agree with everything he said? Speak to us in the comment section somewhere around this video. I want to know your thoughts. If you ever get the chance to work with this man like I have, take it with both hands and don't let go, because he's definitely one of the top people in my network who I can turn to for not just support, but also advice and almost, mentoring, as a service. I see you and I'm inspired by everything you've got going on. Thank you for coming down, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Speak to you guys soon.